So let's move on to actual fun, interesting, awesome things with Zelda Breath of the Wild. I played this game for 40 hours. Um, a full work week in a week to play this game. Technically, no, that about adds up. It's too much, and there's so much to talk about with this game, and I feel like even with 40 hours under my belt, like I should say, I didn't go to the first town till about 25, 28 hours, and that's what the game wants you to do after you leave the plateau, which is the tutorial area, which can take a couple hours. I didn't get there till almost 30 hours into the game. Like I just went to my second little town place. I haven't done a dungeon. I've played a Zelda game for 40 hours and I haven't completed a dungeon. I've done maybe 35, maybe more of the shrines, which feature puzzles and things that you would find in a dungeon, but not quite the same as a full-fledged dungeon. I don't even know what to expect with a dungeon in this game. I know there's 4 of them, at least 4. No clue. No clue what that even means. There are things wandering around this world that I've seen that I still don't know. I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. I have no clue what to do with that information. This is just a thing. This is just a thing here. No idea. And there's so much that is so incredible about this game, and that's one of those things. Oftentimes, even hours and hours into this game, you'll turn a corner and be like, what the hell is that? And then you'll just go. One of the most memorable moments to me was probably about 10 to 15 hours into the game. I found this this beach. You turn the corner and it starts becoming like all sandy and it's a beach, and the map keeps going, right? So I just keep following this beach and I have this whole adventure on the side of this beach, and there's these monsters I shouldn't be fighting, like they'll kill me in one hit, and they did. And then but I took them on. I got some good weapons. I got new fruits and random garbage to cook with and better weapons, and I keep exploring on this beach, and I run into a guardian just on the beach, and it kills me, and then I have to sneak around it, and I do all this stuff on this beach that I'm just spending an hour on, exploring, wandering around, finding mineral deposits, and getting the little gemstones, which I still would like to have a better use for. And I'm like, okay, I want to leave the beach. It just so happens that the road turns to the left back inland, so I'm gonna go this way. I go into here, and there's kind of normal trees, and I look to the right, and it's like, oh, there's tropical. There's tropical trees right here. What's that about? What's going on over there? And I start walking that way, and there's a tower. I can see this tower. It's really close. So you get on these towers to reveal part of the map, right? This tower's really close, so I just think, okay, I'm gonna go through this jungle just a little bit, get to the tower. Takes me 45 minutes from entering that jungle to get to this tower, and it is a harrowing experience of just this thick jungle, and it's thick in vegetation and in just like how the smoke effect it kind of has. Like, you're lost in this jungle and you don't know what's happening, and you're just exploring, and it's incredible. I'm navigating waterfalls and rivers, just trying to get to this tower, like I'm climbing these things, and like I don't have enough stamina to get up there. Okay, what if I go this way? What if I try to explore and do this? And then what if I do that? Like, oh my gosh, there's this creature here I've never even seen. Like, let me go around this thing. Like, all these moments keep happening in the overworld over and over and over again. And they're all incredible. It's all so much fun to just keep exploring. And I get to the top of that tower, and I look out and I go, I want to go there. I want to go there. I want to go there. And you just keep going to these different places. In this playthrough, I kept on having Joy-Con connectivity issues, and that was one of them. Where it had me resync the controllers. But even 40 hours into the game, I've seen maybe okay, let's put it this way. I have on the map viewable a third of it, maybe a little more. But have I seen everything in the areas I've seen? No. There's one section I got the tower for, straight up did nothing there. Like, that is hours and hours of exploration and seeing things around each corner, and these little puzzles you'll solve along the way that unlock these Korok seeds, which you can use to expand your inventory, which is very useful because your inventory is not very large. You'll find them just all over the world, and you'll start seeing indications of them. You'll start seeing like, oh, what's this over here? Like, what if I put this here? And then like, bloop, you solved the puzzle. And there's tons of stuff like that. And there's ones that I see and I know there's something up. I know there's something weird about these trees, but I don't know what. I don't know what to do with them. I'm just not quite sure what it wants me to do. 40 hours into the game, still not sure what some things mean, still finding tons of puzzles and still loving every second of exploration. And there's another example where I was in the desert and, well, I was on top of this mountain and I looked down and there's this I won't even say what it is. There's a place that you can see on the map, and I look down at it and I go, okay, there's a place down there. And I glide down there, and it gives me this shrine quest, which is basically like the shrines that are puzzles in the shrine, but they're shrine quests which present you with some obstacle to get into the shrine, and then that's basically it. You just get an item in there, and you're like, yay, good for you. So when I do this whole quest in there, and that's awesome, I love it, and then I leave there and I just start going in a direction. Like, let me go this way, and there's this crazy statue off in the distance, and that's what I'm gonna go and see. Hey, biker kid, talking about how much I love Breath of the Wild. So I see this statue off in the distance, and I start going to, you start like, that's a really big statue. I'm super far away. So I get closer and closer to the statue, and when I'm there and I'm on the statue and it's giant, like it's a skyscraper basically, and there's a bunch of them, and I start looking at them, and I start looking at the ground and different parts that are in the world, and I start thinking about like, is there there's a puzzle here? There's clearly something here. The game never popped up and told me, hey, go do this thing, right? Like, there's a thing here. Would you like to solve it? Like, here's a riddle. And then sometimes you do get to an area and there's like this guy playing an accordion who will give you a little riddle, and you're like, okay, that's what I need to solve here. But in this instance, maybe there is a quest that someone gives you, but I never saw them. So I just fall into this valley with these giant statues, and it has all the pieces to solve the puzzle on the ground, and I solve the puzzle. I start looking at things on these statues and I go, what does that mean? Like, is that what I think it means? And you start piecing these things together in the same way, almost like The Witness just had puzzles in its world and let you, like, I don't know, figure it out. Everything's there for you, and it does it so well. And it's almost hard to talk about or describe just how fun it is to explore and how many things there are around every corner, even if it's the same, even if it's like, oh, there are bokoblins again over here. It's like, yeah, but is there a treasure chest? Like, okay, let me see if I throw this over here and I fight them with that, or what if I pick this up with magnesis and throw that at them and blow this up, or I try doing stealth. Like, I played the game for maybe 20 hours before I realized you could sneak up behind people and do like a critical hit on them. Like, I just didn't know. The game doesn't tell you things sometimes like that, and that's so awesome. There are other shrines that are just combat. There are ones that are super puzzly, and so far, and there actually have been some that even I played all the Zelda games, but there have been ones that have been just tough. Well, I didn't get it. Like, you're still trying to learn all these different mechanics that the game gives you right at the start, very impressively. Gives you all these mechanics, all these things, like, oh, you can freeze little platforms on water. You can do that the entire game, right? You have bombs the entire game. Like, figure it out. You can stop time of certain objects and do things with them that way. Just figure it out. Figure out puzzles. There's this one puzzle that I had a solution for, and then when I looked at it again, I was like, oh, I could have solved it this way. Like, a completely other way that was just as valid. And so much of this game is like that, and it's so much fun to do. I think there are complaints, and I think I'm gonna section off all my complaints for a separate thing, because I don't think it's perfect. I think the map could be better. Quite frankly, it's kind of a mess at some points. Like, it's really, I don't want to say it's too big, but it definitely, it's hard to tell where you've been, because once you get a section on the map, it starts telling you like, oh, this is all map stuff. It's like, but I don't know if I've been there. I don't know if I've been there. So you start putting little stickers and stamps on the map. But like, what does that mean? Now I have 50, you can put 100 stamps on the map, but I'm getting to the point now where I'm gonna run out of stamps. I can't just keep putting stamps on this map all the time. And I guess that's a good problem to have. I have a couple more notes. Oh, the combat. I think the combat's great and also terrible at the same time, which is weird. Fighting mini bosses, which are kind of not plentiful, but there are several of them in the world. That's fun. Figuring out how to fight them and learning their attack patterns and all that. That's a lot of fun. There was this great fight I had against this giant skeleton man that, you know, anything he did to me would have killed me in one hit. And I learned this fight after dying a bunch of times by dodging and doing all these different things. And like, oh, this is what happens when he does that. I need to run away at that point. And that's incredible. And each of these fights rewards you with a bunch of crap for crafting and selling and weapons and things like that. Like all this, like bunch of these special weapons I got from fighting these giant monsters. And there have only been 3 different types of them so far that I've seen. I'm sure there's more, maybe. I don't know. Unless I'm forgetting one. Yeah, 3 types. And that makes me excited for bosses, which again, no clue. No clue what bosses are going to be like in this game. I know I'm probably going to be overpowered. That's something I'm preparing myself for because I've been playing this game like a psycho. Like I have 140 Korok seeds or something, and I need to go and upgrade my inventory, but I can't. Like I don't know where to go on the map, and the map's so large. The guy just said like, oh, it's up north over here. And I'm like, that's not a direction, dude. It could take me 7 hours to walk that way. Like literal 7 hours. I don't have the time for that. I want to upgrade my inventory now. But that being said, it's so much fun to do every single thing, and I don't think the game's perfect. Like it's got some problems with how it handles inventory, and I think the cooking is a little bit of a mess. There also is a problem with the combat that if there isn't an unlockable chest, or if you don't want the loot, which isn't going to be anything major, you might get money or you might get a weapon, but you're going to break a weapon in this fight, so it's kind of a, you know, crapshoot. There's no reason to fight anything. Like that, a boss monster, sure, I'll fight it. Let's do it, right? But other creatures, I don't really need to fight it. It's like it'll be fine. I don't need it. I don't need its materials. I have enough of it. I go into enough fights anyway that I don't need to engage in all of them. So that's a little thing. There's also with the durability, a lot of people complain about the durability of weapons. Oh, and in this video, I'm trying to jump on a deer, which is why I'm just running around like an idiot. The durability of weapons, I don't think is a huge problem. What is a problem is that you don't know. You can basically only tell 3 reference points for durability. So you can tell if you've never used the weapon before, you can tell if you have used the weapon before, and you can tell if it's about to break. That's not enough. Like if there was another indicator of, oh, this is at 50% health or this is at 30% health, that would be awesome. I would love another way to look at these weapons and go, okay, this is getting damaged, this is getting down there, because as it stands, there's no way. I could be using this sword for a long time, be like, this sword's awesome, and all of a sudden it's like, it's about to break, it's broken. I'm like, damn it, I wish I had known it had a quarter of its life left or something, so that I could have prepared more, so that I could have tried, or even if maybe there's a blacksmith or something later that can repair certain weapons. I would love that. I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't seen a vendor that sells weapons. I haven't even seen a reason to buy anything, quite honestly. I have found a way to upgrade my equipment, and I have done that because I had the materials, because again, when you've played the game for 25 hours and get to your first town, you have some shit in your bags. Like, you have the stuff. Besides the item durability, I don't know if there's really... Oh, the other problem, like when you have a weapon, like a sword, you can throw the sword and get it out of your inventory and pick up a new one. So if you have a shitty sword, that's not as good as what's on the ground, you could just toss it, literally, and grab what's on the ground. But with a bow, you can't do the same thing. And with a shield, you also can't do the same thing. So you'd have to go into the menu and drop the bow or drop the shield. And also, throwing your melee weapon is stupid. There really should be a way to hover over a shield, a bow, or a sword and hold a button down to swap it for what you have currently equipped. That would like free up so much time and just finagling in the menus, which there is a lot of, especially when you have 60 apples and 30 little tusks and whatever. There's just a lot of garbage in your inventory, and it's not necessarily garbage. Like, it is stuff you might need, and the crafting system is super robust, and I would say overwhelming if I tried it, but I don't really. Like, I just toss a mushroom and a steak in a pot and go like, it's food now, and it's fine. Like, I don't even really use that many. You find a lot of cooked meals sometimes, not like meals, but like cooked meat, and so I basically just use that if I need to heal. I also love the fact that I played this game for 20, it was maybe about 25 hours that I saw my first fairy, or maybe a little before that, about 20 hours. My first fairy in a Zelda game, 20 hours in. Insane some of the, like, how much time this game could take to get through and to honestly love every second of it. I really do think the game is incredible. This is probably the best game, the most important game, certainly, since Resident Evil 4. When I started thinking about it, like, Resident Evil 4 changed the game of games and influenced so many things. Like, without Resident Evil 4, we wouldn't have never got Gears of War, which brought in an entire new concept to like third-person shooters, and like that influence, a Dead Space, like, we certainly wouldn't have gotten that. There are so many things that we got from Resident Evil 4, and I feel like we're going to get them from Breath of the Wild. We're going to get other games trying to copy some of this freedom, this exploration that is so much fun, that really is, it doesn't feel like there's, people could argue that there's nothing, that there is nothing in this open world, and you might be correct, right? You might be correct that there's nothing here. There's nothing in this open world. And there really isn't, right? Like, there's nothing here. It's a bunch of grass and rocks and trees, but everything feels so important. And you start looking at every hill going like, is there something on top of this hill? Is there a Korok seed on top of this hill? Will there be a puzzle I have to solve? What if I go over this hill and I see this incredible vista and I want to go there, and I can? And it's going to take me on this incredible journey of hours where I'm just exploring and fighting these monsters and seeing these incredible sights. Like, I had a moment yesterday where I was back in the jungle area and I saw something come out of the water and gobsmacked. Like, what the fuck just came out of the water? This is insane. This is absolutely insane what's going on right now. And I watched it. I just watched it come out of the water and do its little thing. Like, damn, man. I didn't expect that to happen. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what to do with any of this. Like, I don't know what to do with this information. It's just a thing I saw. And it has so many of those moments of, like, that schoolyard type of, did you go over there and do this? Well, did you go over here and do that? Like, what if you did this? What if you did, like, what? And like, how you can explore and exploit some of the physics and the way it does things of like, oh, there's a bunch of thorns around this, so it wants you to burn it, right? And I'm like, okay, I could burn this, or I could just climb this tree and glide over it. Like, screw you, I'm not playing your little game. And so I do. And the game's like, fine then, whatever. We'll let you do it. I love that's an option. There's so many options like that. And each of the shrines also have optional treasure chests. I think it's usually one. Maybe it's two in some of them, I'm not sure. And finding those is like, okay, you solved the puzzle, but now solve it and get over here. I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me try and figure that out. And it's so much fun to solve its problems, and every single thing is a problem. Like, every single spot in the world is a potential problem. to solve, like a little puzzle. Like, what does this mean? Oh, it's a Korok seed thing. What is this? Oh, that's, like what this guy's gonna do if the enemy's over here. Like that, just little clues. Like I've seen 2 Gorons, I've seen like 2-3 Zora people, and I've played the game for this long, right? It's so, there's so much here. And I think, also to talk about, negatives that aren't so glowing, I do think some areas are definitely not created equal. Specifically, I would say the desert that I've explored so far isn't as interesting. There's some place in the rolling hills of Hyrule Field, or wherever I was, there's a Korok seed over here, and there's one over here, and there's a river over here, and what's going on over there? Like, it's all this stuff constantly in your face telling you stuff, telling you to do things, and what it could all mean, and solving a puzzle, and there's a shrine, and there's this, and it's overwhelming in a great way. And then I went to this desert, and it was just, oh, here's a hill, and there's a rock over there, and there's an enemy over here, and okay, but it wasn't as exciting as the other places. So I just went away. I also don't really care for using elixirs and whatnot to get my heat resistance up. That's super annoying to me. I'd rather just have equipment, so I'm waiting till I find someone who has this equipment and I could just buy it with my thousands of rupees that are just burning a hole in my pocket. And I guess to close out the good and the bad, before I focus on things I think the game really needs to change, the game's incredible. I wish there were new items. I guess Magnesis and the stopping time are new, but you get them from the entire game, and there is some fun to having new abilities get unlocked as you play, which has been a hallmark since day 1 of Zelda, and that's not necessarily here. I just got to a point, which admittedly I could have gotten to 20 hours ago or 30 hours ago, where I can upgrade certain abilities. So maybe there are like, oh, I can do this with it now. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. So there are going to be things like that, but I don't really think I'm going to be getting anything as revolutionary as a hook shot, for instance, in this game. Because also, why would you need a hook shot when you can climb everything, which is brilliant. So brilliant. What else do I have written here? The motion controls work really well for aiming and doing bow stuff, but for some of the shrine puzzles where you have to like rotate the thing, number one, I don't know how you'd do it if you weren't playing on the TV, because you'd have to rotate the entire Switch. So you'd have to take the controllers out just to do this puzzle, which is dumb. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to see the screen. But besides that, they aren't fun and they don't work right. And it was almost to the point where I was doing this puzzle and I looked at it and said, like, I don't want to do this. I want to quit this puzzle. And I've gone through so much in this game, so many of these stupid mini bosses that can just do their dumb bullshit attacks that you can't dodge unless you're just far away or you do the correct time or whatever. It's not like Dark Souls. The dodging is not Dark Souls, and I keep trying to play it like Dark Souls. It's not. And I realized like all these things I've overcome, but the stupid motion control puzzle is where I'm gonna quit. That's where it's gonna be. This shitty puzzle. I just can't take it. So that's a thing. But besides that, I think everything else is fine. I'll kind of get into, yeah, I think that's it for the positives and the overall. I did talk about some negatives here, but I also want to section off into things that I think are really super annoying with this game.